Adrenaline, the fire I breathe is where I live. Incredible, an animal, one life to live. I never give up, I never give in. Some people wanna turn and run, but the strong rise under the gun. Top to the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be. Every day I fight to be. Ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day
Jewels in your religion, all the
talking, you start questioning your fate. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's drying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to a slightly delayed WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Wwe Crown Jewel and
John Randy Smith, and the reason why it has been delayed, well, it's delayed so long, is one of us was on holiday.
sometimes real life will get in the way of these shows.
Yes, but we will give you our reactions to WWE Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel 2019 took place on Halloween, October 31st in Rio, Saudi Arabia from the King
Fahd International Stadium.
We had 9 matches in total, one of which took place on the kickoff / pre-show, and that was to determine an opponent for someone else later in the evening.
Yes, but we'll go straight into what we need to talk about. Ooh.
Yes, the pre-show had a 20-man battle royal where the winner would face AJ Styles later in the evening for the United States Championship. Here there was a little bit of action regarding another championship as well. Of course, that championship would be the 24/7 championship.
Of course.
In which once Sonya Sin and R-Truth were both eliminated from this match, R-Truth would sneak up on Sonya Sin and lower him up to win his 21st, yes you heard me right, 21st 24/7 championship, only to lose it to the other Sin brother later in the show.
In Sunil Singh.
However, the overall winner of this battle royal and the person who will face or who would go on to face AJ Styles later on in the show was Humberto Carrera.
And he will get a match against AJ Styles.
Crown Jewel opened up with the WWE Championship match, which I know it's rare for the WWE show to do this, but I imagine Lesnar wanted to get this done with and then get the heck out of that country, especially considering what happened afterwards, but we'll get to that later on.
Yes, so the match we're talking about, it was Brock, as my colleague will put it,
Brock Lesnar,
with Paul Heyman in his corner, defended his WWE Championship against Cain Velasquez, who had Rey Mysterio in his corner.
Yes, Lesnar would be facing a ghost of his UFC past. No pun intended, considering we're coming up to Christmas.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Now, the backstory to this match essentially came on an episode of Raw when Rey Mysterio was supposed to challenge Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, only to be attacked by Brock Lesnar, who would also attack his son Dominic.
Leading to this match.
Well, not quite, because then, on the premiere episode of SmackDown on Fox, Lesnar would squash then WWE Champion Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship, but did not get a chance to celebrate when Rey Mysterio would emerge with Cain Velasquez.
Yes, where Cain Velasquez then took down Brock Lesnar with a couple of strikes, and before Brock Lesnar hightailed it out of the arena.
Which would then lead to this match. However, this match did not go very long.
No, it didn't.
Because...
It went 2 minutes and 10 seconds to be exact.
Yes, because the two hooked up, very MMA style.
Mm-hmm.
Velasquez managed to ground and take down Brock Lesnar with a slight kick to the head, if my memory serves me correctly. And as he started to pound him, Lesnar managed to get Velasquez into the Kimura lock, forcing Velasquez to tap out. However, after the match, Lesnar refused to release the hold, forcing Rey Mysterio to enter the ring with a steel chair. Somehow that could be a big mistake.
It could be.
Because it got Lesnar off Velasquez. Rey Mysterio was basically then swatted out the ring. Lesnar had a chair and hit a few chair shots of Velasquez before F5ing him. Rey Mysterio would then come back into the ring with another chair, and the two would play dueling chairs for a while until Rey Mysterio got the upper hand, again forcing Brock Lesnar to retreat.
Yes, and
this is where things get a little bit interesting.
It does.
Because this is then what will lead, and we'll talk this again next week, where this would then lead into what will happen at Survivor Series. Brock Lesnar would come out on SmackDown, basically saying he's quitting the show to go over to Raw to get revenge and hunt Rey Mysterio.
But now,
So we get to Raw. Lesnar is pissed, looking for Mysterio. Starts throwing people around, tries to threaten Jerry the King Lawler.
But Dio ended up standing up for the King and receiving an F5 through the announce
Yes,
table.
and Dio Madden is no small guy. However,
No,
as Lesnar is gloating, he is yet again ambushed, rightly so, by Rey Mysterio with his steel pipe. Hit multiple times, then floored with the championship, and then Rey Mysterio issues the challenge to Brock Lesnar for a WWE Championship match at Survivor Series. And we'll go through all that again next week.
Yes, we will. But now, we're going to move on to a 9-team tag team turmoil match to determine the best tag team in the world. Okay, I'm not so very happy.
Okay, bear with us here when we go through exactly what happened here. The first two teams out of the 9 to enter this match were Glorious Gable. No, not Glorious Gable. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Yeah.
Glorious show-offs, as we call them.
Yeah, all glorious domination.
And the Lucha House Party. The Lucha House Party were eliminated with a glorious DDT.
Yes.
Which was hit on, where is it?
I believe to be Kalisto.
I'm going to say Dorado, actually. Then we had Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, former tag team champions, enter the match.
Only to get squashed.
They were eliminated fairly quickly with a spinebuster zigzag combination.
And then out comes team number 3.
Team number 3, oh well, technically team number 4, Heavy Machinery.
And they eliminated Glorious Domination.
They eliminated them with, where is it?
With their tag team finisher.
Yes, Tucker performed a compactor onto Ziggler to eliminate them.
Yeah.
They were then faced with their sort of friends, but they had to put that to the side at this moment when they faced the now, and I stress this word, now 7-time tag team champions in the New Day.
Yes, and then the Machinery were then eliminated by Big E and Kofi Kingston.
Yes, with a little help from Chubba in Paradise. They were then eliminated. They were then confronted by the now, the now former, but then SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Revival.
They were quickly eliminated, but after the match, after they were eliminated, the Revival attacked the New Day.
Yes, which allowed the OC to take full advantage and hit, after a bit of back and forth, hit the Magic Killer on Kingston to eliminate them. Which was then left with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders. And I was sort of convinced, because the rumour had been going around that the Viking Raiders would be the team to win this cup.
But unfortunately, the rumour was not proven true.
Yes, because there was a Magic Killer on either that would signal the end, and technically the first main roster pinfall defeat for the Viking Raiders. And unfortunately, the best team in the world is now the OC. So currently, the OC has the best team in the world accolade and the United States Championship in its corner.
Right.
It's almost like the OC is the main roster's version of the Undisputed Era. Ooh, but we'll get to that
In a short while.
Before we get to the next match, it was announced during Crown Jewel, and we'll talk about this more next week, that Survivor Series would be Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Yes, you heard us right about that, but more will be told about that next week.
So next, after the tag team turmoil match, we had a very good match between the Swiss Superman Cesaro and the local boy Mansoor, who's not really seen or heard from much since winning the Battle Royal at Super Showdown.
But in a match that was around 12 minutes and 45 seconds, the winner of this match, after a very good effort,
was Mansoor. The match was good but predictable. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that also.
The next match was a sort of attraction match, as boxer Tyson Fury would take on Braun Strowman. Now, what is there to say about this?
I don't know.
I want to be polite, but I'm not sure how to do that.
Yes.
This was a little bit all over the place.
Was it bit?
Tyson Fury is an entertainer, so he has that bit going for him. I'm not 100% sure he has the transition into a wrestler going for him that some people like a Cain Velasquez and Ronda Rousey seem to be able to do. Not that I think this was going to be any more than a one-time, maybe two-time thing.
But the winner, by a TKO...
Well, technically it was a count-out, not a TKO.
But the winner by a count-out...
Tyson Fury.
Yes, you heard us right. Tyson Fury beat the monster among men.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes, moving quickly on is right.
Next, it was time for Humberto Carrero to have his United States Championship match.
However, Humberto Carrero will have to do with the OC.
Yes, I was hoping that the OC would not play a part in this match. Unfortunately, they did.
And helped AJ Styles retain the United States Championship.
Despite the fact that it was a relatively good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, after a phenomenal fallout. So, after that match, we went to
a history-making match.
Which was probably overstated by WWE, but nonetheless. This was a women's match with Natalya taking on Lacey Evans. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Didn't they just bury the hatchet and tag together like the previous week on Raw? So why are they facing each other in a match?
I don't know.
Well, the only downside to this is that you can almost tell that the women were enjoying it a bit too much.
Yeah.
Because there were times during this match, I'm not saying that it wasn't a good match, because these two can work.
They can.
But kayfabe was kayfabe-wise, it almost went out the window altogether.
Yeah, pretty much.
In any event, the eventual winner of this match was Natalya, with a little bit of help from a certain move called the Sharpshooter. Now, I will say how, due to Saudi Arabia being a messed up little country, I won't go in any detail than that.
Yes, exactly.
Both Lacey Evans and Natalya had to slightly alter their in-ring gear and wear t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
So, the penultimate match, a kind of match which belongs on Survivor Series.
Not Crown Jewel.
Team Flair of Randy Orton, King Corbin, Bobby Lashley,
the Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura,
and the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre, accompanied by Ric Flair, would take on Team Hogan of Roman Reigns,
Rusev,
Ricochet, Shorty G, aka Chad Gable, Ali, who apparently now has his first name back
to Mustafa Ali.
would go head to head. And this was all over the place.
It pretty much was.
These big matches are, but in the end, it was well as it. It was Roman Reigns hitting a spear onto Mr. Randy Orton that would give Team Hogan the win.
Yes, it would. And I'm still feeling the effects of the spear, Roman. Thanks very much.
Now, the final match to take place was
For
the Falls Count Anywhere. Match cannot be stopped for any reason. Falls Count Anywhere match for the Universal Championship.
And this match brawled all over the arena.
All over the arena, all over the stage. Yes, but this should have happened at a little thing called Hell in a Cell, Shit in a Cell, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the match cannot be stopped. A Hell in a Cell match cannot be stopped.
But yet it was stopped.
2, 3, 3. So, we had stomp after stomp after stomp yet again.
And we even had one part of the match where the Fiend went into the electrical wires.
Just a little bit, because there were, where is it?
But there was a lot of big bumps in this match.
Now, slight spoiler, you might have worked this out from what I said earlier, but under the rules of this match, were the Fiend to win this match, then the Universal title would be transferred to SmackDown. So we had a Sister Abigail on Seth Rollins through a table.
Yes.
We had Seth Rollins attacking the Fiend with a steel chair.
Yes.
On the announce table. He attempted a flying elbow drop onto the table. Seth Rollins was put through not one but 2 tables, which he set up himself.
Yes.
However, after executing multiple curb stomps, as we said, the ending sort of came when Seth Rollins attempted murder.
Yes, by sending the Fiend, beg your pardon, off the stage through the electrical wires.
Now this is where it gets a little bit corny with the effects, but I'll deal with it. Because we had the Fiend was nowhere to be seen, so Seth Rollins, under the rules, and normally at this point the referee would call for the match to be stopped. Not possible. According to the rules, at least. So Seth Rollins is attempting to move all the equipment out of the way.
So they can get the 1, 2, 3.
When a spark of electricity seems to shoot up and catches Rollins in the eye, supposedly attempting to blind him. The Fiend, Undertaker style or Kane style, seems to rise up, perform a mandible claw into Sister Abigail, and become the Universal Champion.
Which on record makes Bray Wyatt a 2-time world champion.
Let's hope that this one lasts longer than his first reign as WWE Champion, which he lost to you a month later.
Yes, so now we will run through the results.
In the pre-show, Humberto Carrero won the 20-man Battle Royal to get a shot at the United States Championship.
Brock Lesnar defeated Cain Velasquez by submission for the WWE Championship.
The OC won the 19 Tag Team Turmoil match to become best tag team in the world.
Mansoor on his home turf defeated Cesaro.
Tyson Fury defeated Braun Strowman by countout.
AJ Styles retained the United States Championship against the winner of the Battle Royal, Humberto Carrero.
Natalya defeated Lacey Evans.
Team Hogan defeated Team Blair with some help from Roman Reigns.
And The Fiend defeated Seth Rollins to become the Universal Champion. Now, just before we get this done,
yes,
the WWE had the unfortunate task of getting the SmackDown side of this roster back to the US ASAP to record SmackDown for the next evening.
But that didn't happen.
That did not happen, and there have been conflicting reports as to why. This led for SmackDown to be invaded by NXT.
Yes, half the NXT roster invaded SmackDown Live, laying the stone ready for Survivor Series. But then again, we'll let you know about that next week.
So, that pretty much does it for Crown Jewel. He's been
Sean Randy Smith, and he's been
Oh, did we forget to mention that?
Yes, CM Punk is back in the WWE after 5 years of being away.
Sort of. CM Punk at the moment is employed by Fox, or being paid by Fox at the minute, to be a panelist on WWE Backstage, which takes place on FS1 every Tuesday night. Whether or not this could eventually lead him to being back into the ring at some point, we are yet to find out, but this is interesting news and a sign of things to come, hopefully.
Yes, so now we will continue our outro.
Yes, he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and he's been
Wasteful Rock Jones, and we shall see you next week for Survivor Series.
See ya. Nice little surprise.